At 2:47 p.m. Tuesday, Mike's phone received a notification that turned his world upside down. A photo from the gallery showed his wife Sophia having a romantic dinner with another man. Mike, a successful Texas contractor, doesn't lose his temper. Instead of anger, he chooses intelligent revenge that will destroy lies and reveal the truth. Will he be able to maintain his dignity and defeat treason? At 2:47 p.m. on a scorching Tuesday in Austin, Texas, Mike Rodriguez sat in his weathered Ford F-150, the engine idling to keep the AC running. His phone buzzed on the dashboard, cutting through the hum of a nearby construction site where his crew hammered away on a new office complex. The notification from Sunlit Canvas, a trendy local art gallery, flashed across the screen. Tagged you in a photo. Mike, 35, a contractor who'd built his company from a single toolbox to a 50-man operation, ignored it at first. He was halfway through a protein bar, mentally reviewing blueprints for a $10 million project. But curiosity tugged. He tapped the screen. The photo loaded, pixel by pixel, revealing a scene that stopped his heart. His wife, Sophia, 32, sat at a corner table in the gallery's chic wine bar. Her auburn hair caught the sunlight streaming through the windows, but it wasn't her beauty that hit him like a sledgehammer. It was her hand, intertwined with Dr. Anthony Cruz's, her top client at a pharmaceutical giant. Their fingers locked in a way that wasn't professional, wasn't casual, wasn't anything but intimate. Mike's jaw tightened. Sophia had left that morning at 6 a.m., her briefcase packed for a big territory day of client meetings. He'd kissed her goodbye, wished her luck, and believed her. Now her smile in the photo, genuine, unguarded, told a different story. Mike didn't yell or throw the phone. He'd spent 15 years building Rodriguez Construction, navigating supply chain crises and labor disputes with calm precision. This wasn't the time to lose control. He zoomed in on the image. 2 half-empty wine glasses, a half-eaten charcuterie board, Anthony's thumb brushing Sophia's wrist. The timestamp, 1 hour ago. Mike's mind cataloged every detail, a habit from years of double-checking contracts. He opened Instagram and scrolled through Sunlit Canvas's posts. There they were, week after week, always Tuesdays, always that same corner table. For months of photos, each one a little closer, a little more familiar. Professional distance had eroded into something undeniable. He dialed his attorney, David Carter, who'd handled his business contracts for a decade. "David, it's Mike. I need divorce papers drawn up. Today." David's voice crackled through the speaker. "Mike, what's going on?" Mike sent a photo and a link to the gallery's Instagram history. "That's what's going on. Can you have papers ready in 2 hours?" David hesitated. "That's fast. You sure you don't want to talk it over first?" Mike's tone was steel. "She's holding hands with another man in public. I'm sure. Get a process server ready, too." David sighed. "I'll have it done. Text me where to send the server." Next, Mike called SecureLock, the company that maintained his home security system. The house, a 3-bedroom ranch he'd bought and renovated before meeting Sophia, was his own, titled in his name. "I need all locks changed by 5 p.m., he told the rep. "Can you make it happen?" The rep confirmed, "For you, Mr. Rodriguez, we'll have a team there by 4. Just you getting the new keys?" Mike's answer was curt. "Yes, just me." He opened his voice recorder app and spoke clearly. "This is Mike Rodriguez, 2:55 p.m. Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. I've just seen a photo from Sunlit Canvas showing my wife, Sophia Rodriguez, in an intimate setting with Dr. Anthony Cruz. I'm documenting this as evidence of her infidelity and my response." He saved the file. Documentation had saved him in business disputes. It would save him now. Mike stepped out of the truck, the Texas heat hitting him like a wall. His foreman, Juan Morales, was directing a crane operator. Juan, 40, had been with Mike since the company's early days, a loyal friend who'd stood at his wedding 3 years ago. Mike waved him over. "Juan, I need you and Kevin. Clear your afternoon and bring your phones." Juan's bro furuba. "Everything okay, boss?" Mike handed him the phone with the photo still open. Juan's eyes widened, then narrowed. "That's Sophia. With some guy?" Mike nodded. "Dr. Anthony Cruz. Her client. I need witnesses. We're going to the gallery. Kevin Walsh, a wiry carpenter who joined 8 years ago, jogged over, sensing the tension. Mike showed him the photo. Kevin whistled low. Damn, Mike. That's cold. Mike's voice stayed even. We're not causing a scene. We document, we confirm, we leave. You in? Both men nodded. Juan clapped Mike's shoulder. We got you. Jefe. Kevin added, let's do this right. Mike climbed back into the truck, Juan and Kevin piling in. The drive to Sunlit Canvas took 15 minutes through Austin's bustling downtown. Mike's mind raced, piecing together the betrayal. Sophia's late nights, her client dinners, her sudden interest in art galleries she'd never mentioned before they married. He'd trusted her, chalked it up to her demanding job. Now, every excuse felt like a brick in a wall of lies. They parked across from the gallery, its glass facade gleaming in the late afternoon sun. Through the windows, Mike spotted Sophia and Anthony still at their table. Anthony's hand now rested on her knee. Sophia laughed, her head tilted back, oblivious to the storm about to hit. Mike turned to Juan. Get a clear shot from here. Video if you can. Be discreet. Juan nodded, pulling out his phone. Kevin leaned forward. You sure it's not just a friendly lunch, Mike? Mike scrolled to a post from 2 months ago. Sophia and Anthony, shoulders touching, her hand on his arm. Does that look friendly to you? Kevin shook his head. Point taken. Mike took a deep breath, steadying himself. Kevin, you're with me. Juan, keep recording and wait for my signal. He stepped out of the truck, Kevin at his side, and crossed the street. The gallery's glass doors slid open, cool air and soft jazz spilling out. A woman in a sleek blazer approached. Lila, the gallery owner, according to her name tag. Welcome to Sunlit Canvas. Looking for anything specific? Mike kept walking, just browsing. His eyes locked on the wine bar, where Sophia and Anthony sat, lost in their own world. The stage was set, and Mike was ready to rewrite the script. Mike Rodriguez strode through Sunlit Canvas, his boots echoing on the polished concrete floor, Kevin Walsh trailing close behind. The soft jazz from hidden speakers did nothing to ease the knot in his chest. Through the wine bar's glass partition, he saw Sophia and Dr. Anthony Cruz, their heads bent close, her laughter carrying across the room. Mike's phone buzzed. Juan, texting from the truck, got clear video. They're cozy. Signal when you need me. Mike pocketed the phone, his plan solidifying. He wasn't here to scream or break things. He'd built a business on precision, and he'd dismantle this betrayal the same way. Kevin positioned himself near a sculpture, pretending to study it while angling his phone for photos. Mike approached the wine bar, stopping 10 feet from Sophia's table. She was twirling her necklace, a nervous habit he'd once found endearing. Anthony's hand rested on her thigh now, his voice low and animated. Mike's stomach churned, but he kept his face neutral, a skill honed from years of negotiating with tough clients. He signaled Kevin to keep recording and took a step closer. Sophia glanced up, scanning for the server. Her eyes caught Mike's, and her smile froze. She blinked, as if her brain refused to process her husband standing in a gallery at 3:15 p.m. on a Tuesday. Her wine glass slipped, nearly tipping over. Anthony followed her gaze, his confident smirk fading when he recognized Mike. Mike Rodriguez? He stammered, his hand jerking back. Sophia's voice cracked. What are you doing here? Mike held up his phone, the Sunlit Canvas Instagram post glowing on the screen. Interesting client meeting, Sophia. Care to explain? Her face drained of color. It's not. It's just lunch. Mike swiped to another post, then another, each showing them at the same table, their body language more intimate with every week. Lunch every Tuesday for 4 months? These don't look like business lunches. Anthony leaned forward, trying to regain control. Mr. Rodriguez, you're misunderstanding. We're discussing pharmaceutical protocols. Mike's eyes narrowed. Protocols that require hand-holding and wine? Save it, doctor. The server, a young man with a tray of empty glasses, hesitated nearby, sensing the tension. Lila, the gallery owner, approached cautiously. Is everything all right, gentlemen? Mike ignored her, focusing on Sophia. You told me you had client meetings all day. Instead, you're here with him." He turned to Anthony. "And you, a married doctor, cozying up with your pharma rep. How's that going to look to your hospital's ethics board?" Anthony's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Mike's phone buzzed again. A text from David Carter, his attorney. "Papers ready. Process server en route. ETA 10 minutes." Mike replied with the gallery's address, then pocketed the device. Sophia stood, her chair scraping loudly. "Mike, please, let's talk privately." Her voice trembled, but Mike shook his head. "You chose a public gallery for your affair. We're talking here." He gestured to the table, the wine, the untouched dessert. "How long, Sophia? How many lies?" She opened her mouth, but no words came. Anthony tried again. "This is a professional relationship. You're blowing it out of proportion." Mike scrolled to a post from 6 weeks ago, Sophia's head resting on Anthony's shoulder. "Professional? Huh? Your wife know about these meetings?" Anthony's face reddened, but before he could respond, the gallery doors slid open. A tall man in a gray suit entered, carrying a manila envelope. "The process server. Mrs. Sophia Rodriguez?" The server asked, scanning the room. Sophia's eyes widened, darting to Mike. "What did you do?" The server approached. "Are you Sophia Rodriguez?" She nodded, tears welling. He handed her the envelope. "You've been served with divorce papers. You have 30 days to respond." The room went silent, patrons turning to stare. Lila gasped, stepping back. Kevin kept his phone steady, capturing every second. Sophia clutched the papers, her hands shaking. "Mike, you're divorcing me? Just like that?" Mike's voice was calm but firm. "You made your choice every Tuesday. I'm making mine now." He turned to Anthony. "And you should expect a call from your hospital. I'm filing a complaint about your prescription patterns. Let's see how many of Sophia's drugs you've been overprescribing." Anthony stood, knocking over his chair. "You can't prove anything." Mike didn't flinch. "Your hospital will, and so will Pfizer's compliance team." Lila stepped in, her voice tight. "Please take this outside. You're disturbing our guests." Mike nodded, but not before addressing Anthony. "Your chief of staff will have my complaint by tomorrow. Certified mail. The state medical board gets a copy, too." Sophia reached for Mike's arm, but he stepped back. "Don't. Your things will be in the garage by tonight. Locks are already being changed. The house is mine. Check the prenup you signed." Her tears spilled over. "Where am I supposed to go?" Mike's gaze was steady. "Ask your doctor friend. He's got a wife and kids to explain this to." Anthony grabbed his jacket, muttering, "This is ridiculous." He stormed toward the exit, leaving Sophia alone at the table, the spilled wine pooling like stain. Mike signaled Kevin, who sent the recorded video to Mike's phone. "Let's go," Mike said, turning away from Sophia's sobs. Outside, Juan was waiting in the truck, his phone still rolling. "Got everything, boss." "Clear as day." Mike climbed in, his hands steady, but his pulse racing. "Good. Send it to David." As they drove back to the construction site, Kevin broke the silence. "That was intense. You okay, Mike?" Mike stared at the road. "I'm handling it." Juan glanced over. She didn't even try to deny it. Just made excuses. Mike nodded, his mind already on the next steps. He texted David, "Send complaints to Pfizer and the hospital tonight. Include the video." David replied instantly, "On it." "You sure you want to move this fast?" Mike's response was simple, "No choice." She made hers. Back at the site, Mike's crew was wrapping up for the day. He called Juan and Kevin aside. "You're my witnesses. If this goes to court, you'll need to confirm what you saw." Juan nodded. "We've got your back, Chief. Always." Kevin added, "She's going to regret this." Mike didn't respond. Regret was her problem now. His was protecting what he'd built, his business, his home, his future. The sun was setting over Austin, casting long shadows across the site. Mike's phone buzzed again, Sophia, calling for the 10th time. He silenced it. The truth was out, and the consequences were coming. Mike Rodriguez drove back to the construction site, the Austin skyline fading into dusk. His phone vibrated relentlessly with Sophia's calls, each one ignored. Juan and Kevin sat silently in the truck, the weight of the gallery confrontation hanging heavy. Mike's mind was a blueprint of next steps. Protect his assets, expose the truth, move forward. He pulled into the site, where cranes loomed like silent sentinels over the half-built office complex. Juan, send that video to David now, Mike said, stepping out. Juan nodded, uploading the file. Done, Chief. What's next? Mike checked his watch for 30 p.m. The locksmith would be at his house in 30 minutes. He texted David Carter. Complaints to Pfizer and the hospital need to go out tonight. Video's coming. David replied, drafting now. Hospital's ethics board will move fast on this. Pfizer too. Mike pocketed the phone and turned to his crew. You two take lead on the site. I gotta handle things at home. Kevin hesitated. You sure you don't need us there? Mike shook his head. This part's on me. At the house, the secure lock van was already parked. Derek, a wiry technician, was swapping out the front door lock. Mr. Rodriguez, we'll have all entrances done by 5:15, he said, drilling into the deadbolt. Mike nodded. Change the garage code too. Make it 9876. Derek raised an eyebrow, but kept working. Got it. Any other key holders? Mike's voice was flat. Just me. Inside, he began packing Sophia's belongings. Clothes, shoes, her laptop. Each item went into boxes with methodical care. He wasn't vindictive. He just wanted her out of his life. His phone pinged with an email from David. Complaints drafted. Pfizer's compliance team is on high alert for ethics violations. Hospital's chief of staff will get the letter by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Videos damning. Mike forwarded the gallery's Instagram history and Juan's video as attachments. Every frame showed Sophia and Anthony's intimacy, a timeline of betrayal. He found a receipt in Sophia's desk drawer. $2, $500 for a bracelet he'd never seen. Paid in cash 3 months ago. He photographed it, adding it to the evidence pile. Sophia's iPad, left unlocked on the kitchen counter, was a goldmine. Her calendar listed client lunches every Tuesday, some Thursdays, all matching Anthony's schedule. A hotel receipt from 2 months ago caught Mike's eye, charged to her company card, coinciding with Anthony's medical conference in Dallas. He screenshotted everything, emailing them to David. Then he found their emails. Messages from 7 months ago started professional but turned personal. You make meetings worth showing up for, Anthony wrote. Sophia's reply. You see me in ways Mike's too busy for. Mike's chest tightened, but he kept scrolling, documenting each betrayal. The doorbell rang. Mike opened it to find Juan, holding a takeout bag from a nearby taco joint. Thought you might need fuel, boss. Mike let him in, grateful for the gesture. They ate in silence at the kitchen table, the same one where Sophia used to pitch her sales strategies. She's blowing on my phone too, Juan said, showing a string of texts from Sophia, pleading for him to talk to Mike. What did you tell her? Mike asked. Juan's chiraged. Nothing. This is your call. Mike nodded, finishing his taco. Appreciate you being here. By 8 p.m., Sophia's belongings filled the garage. 12 boxes, 4 suitcases, neatly stacked. Mike texted her. Your stuff's in the garage. Code's 9876. Don't try entering the house. Cameras are on. Her reply came instantly. Mike, please, let's talk. I'm still your wife. He didn't respond. Legally, she was. Emotionally, she'd checked out months ago. He called David. Everything's sent. David confirmed. Pfizer's already reviewing. Hospital's ethics board is scheduling an emergency meeting. Anthony's in trouble. His prescription rates for Sophia's drugs are 300% above average. Mike exhaled. Good. Keep me posted. The next morning, Mike was at the site by 6 a.m. Revue vie concrète pour schedule. His phone buzzed with a call from Sophia's mother, Elena. Mike, what's happening? Sophia's at our place, crying, saying you kicked her out. Mike emailed her the gallery photos and a summary of the evidence. That's why, Elena. She's been lying for months. A long pause followed. We didn't know, Elena said, her voice breaking. We raised her better. Mike softened. I know. This is on her. By noon, Sophia showed up at the site, her Mercedes idling at the gate. Juan and Kevin blocked her path. Mike watched on the security feed as she gestured wildly, tears streaming. Juan stood firm, shaking his head. She's begging to see you, Kevin reported, jogging to the office trailer. Says it's all a mistake. Mike stared at the screen, a mistake she made every week. He told Kevin to send her away. If she comes back, call the cops. Kevin nodded, returning to the gate. David called at 1 p.m. Pfizer suspended Sophia pending investigation. They're pulling her company car and card today. Hospitals digging into Anthony's records. It's not looking good for either of them. Mike leaned back in his chair. How fast will this move? David's tone was grim. Pfizer's compliance team doesn't mess around. Anthony's hospital privileges are at risk. You got a solid case for the divorce, too. Prenup's airtight. Mike ended the call, his focus shifting to the site. His crew deserved his best, not a distracted boss. That afternoon, a new email arrived from Marcus Webb, a developer Mike had pitched to for years. Heard about your situation, Mike. More impressed by how you handled it. No drama, just action. Want a bid on a $40 million retail center? Specs attached. Mike's pulse quickened. The irony wasn't lost. This betrayal was opening doors Sophia's lies had kept closed. He replied, send the full proposal. We're in. The crew noticed a shift in mood. Good news, boss. One asked. Mike grinned. Biggest project yet. Let's get to work. As the sun set, Mike stood atop a scaffold, watching his team pour concrete under floodlights. His phone stayed silent. No more calls from Sophia. The complaints were filed, the locks changed, the evidence secured. Sophia and Anthony's world was unraveling, and Mike was building his future, one calculated move at a time. Mike Rodriguez stood at his construction site, the Austin skyline glowing under a late October sunset. His crew hustled, laying rebar for the $40 million retail center that had landed in his lap after Sophia's betrayal. His phone, silent for the first time in days, carried no new pleas from his soon-to-be ex-wife. The complaints he'd filed against Sophia and Dr. Anthony Cruz were now in motion, grinding through corporate and medical bureaucracies. Mike focused on what he could control: his work, his team, his future. By Wednesday morning, the fallout began. David Carter, Mike's attorney, called at 7 a.m. Pfizer's investigation is done. Sophia's out. Terminated for cause, false expense reports, unethical client relationships, damage to company reputation. No severance, no benefits. Mike nodded, unsurprised. And Anthony? David's voice sharpened. Hospitals suspended him. His prescription data shows 340% overprescribing of Pfizer's drugs. Ethics board's meeting Friday. His career's on life support. Mike ended the call, then checked his email. A message from Pfizer's compliance team confirmed Sophia's termination and requested a statement. He forwarded David's complaint and the gallery videos, keeping his response brief. At noon, one flagged him down at the site. Boss, check this out. He showed Mike a viral Instagram post from a local gossip account. Sunlit canvas, where art meets affairs. Tagged photo catches pharma rep and doctor in the act. The post had 10,000 likes, with comments piling up. Homewrecker gallery strikes again. Who's the husband? Mike's name wasn't mentioned, but the story was spreading. He texted Lila, the gallery owner. Your post started this. I want to pull them. Her reply came fast. Already deleted. We're drowning in bad PR. I'm so sorry. Sophia's Mercedes was repossessed by Pfizer that afternoon. Mike got a call from her father, Luis, while inspecting a foundation pour. Mike, Sophia's a mess. She's staying with us, but she can't afford her own place. What happened? Mike sent him the video evidence and a timeline of her Tuesday lunches. Luis went quiet, then said, We thought she was happy with you. Mike's voice softened. So did I. She chose this. Luis Saith. She's our daughter, but we're on your side. This was wrong. By Thursday, the hospital's investigation into Anthony escalated. David reported that Anthony's partners had voted to freeze his surgical schedule. Patients were reassigned, and his office received a flood of cancellation requests. A colleague of Mike's, who worked security at the hospital, texted, Cruz's wife filed for divorce. She's taking him to the cleaners. Mike didn't reply. Anthony's downfall was his own doing, but the collateral damage, his kids, his wife, stung. Still, Mike pressed forward, drafting a bid for Marcus Webb's retail project with his team late into the night. Friday brought chaos for Sunlit Canvas. Online reviews tanked, with one-star ratings calling it the affair hotspot. Two artists pulled their exhibits, and a corporate event canceled, citing the scandal. Lila called Mike, her voice strained. "We're losing everything. I'm selling the gallery at a loss. I didn't know what Sophia and Anthony were doing." Mike was firm but fair. "Your social media team tagged me into this mess. Be more careful next time." Lila promised to overhaul their policies, but the damage was done. Sophia's attorney, Karen Lopez, contacted David with a settlement offer, 30% of marital assets and 3 years of alimony. Mike laughed when David related. "She's got no job, no leverage, and the prenup's ironclad. Counter with 15%, no alimony." David pushed back. "That's low, Mike. Courts might see it as punitive." Mike stood firm. "She cheated for months, lied to my face, and tanked her career. 15% is generous." David sent the counteroffer, and Lopez's response was immediate. "She'll consider it. She's desperate." That evening, Mike met Marcus Webb at a downtown steakhouse to discuss the retail project. Marcus leaned across the table, his voice low. "Words out about how you handled Sophia's affair. Calm, smart, no nonsense. That's why I want you on this job. $40 million, tight timeline. Can you deliver?" Mike shook his hand. "We'll break ground on schedule." Marcus grinned. "Knew I picked the right guy. Sorry about your marriage, but you're better off." Mike nodded, the weight of the past week lifting slightly. His business was thriving, his crew loyal, his path clear. Sophia showed up at the site Saturday morning, driving her mother's old Honda. Juan and Kevin intercepted her again, but Mike watched from the trailer. She was pleading, gesturing to the office, her voice audible through the open window. "Please, just let me talk to him. I made a mistake." Juan shook his head. "Lady, you made a choice. Go home." She left, tires screeching. Mike texted David. "She's still trying to talk. Keep her away." David replied, "Noted. Her lawyer's pushing for a meeting. I'll handle it." By Monday, Anthony's situation imploded. The hospital's ethics board found evidence of improper prescribing tied to his relationship with Sophia. His privileges were revoked, and the state medical board scheduled a hearing. Gossip spread through Austin's medical community. Anthony was untouchable. Mike's contact at the hospital texted, "Cruise is done. Partners are buying him out cheap." Mike didn't respond. His focus was on the retail project, where his crew was already clearing land. Sophia's parents called again that night. Elena's voice trembled. "She's in therapy, Mike. Says she felt invisible, needed validation. We don't understand why she threw you away." Mike listened, then said, "She had a choice. I'm moving on." Elena sighed. "Your family to us always will be." Mike hung up, staring at the empty house. Sophia's absence was a void, but not a wound. He'd build a life before her, and he'd build one after. The viral post kept spreading, now with memes mocking Sunlit Canvas. Lila announced the gallery's closure on Instagram, citing unforeseen circumstances. Mike's business, meanwhile, was flooded with calls. New clients impressed by his professionalism under pressure. He hired 3 more crew members to handle the workload. As he walked the site, blueprints in hand, one clapped his shoulder. "You're bulletproof, Chief." Sophia didn't know what she had. Mike gave a tight smile. "She'll learn. So will he." The consequences were just beginning, and Mike was already building something stronger. Mike Rodriguez stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Austin Retail Center, his hard hat gleaming under the Texas sun. It was 6 months since that Tuesday notification shattered his marriage. The $40 million project, now complete under budget, buzzed with dignitaries, clients, and his loyal crew. Juan and Kevin flanked him, grinning as the mayor snipped the red ribbon. Marcus Weeb, the developer, leaned in. "You deliver, Mike. This is why I bet on you." Mike nodded, his focus sharp despite the applause. His life had rebuilt itself, brick by brick, while Sophia and Anthony faced the wreckage of their choices. The divorce finalized a week earlier. Sophia's attorney, Karen Lopez, had caved at 15% of marital assets, $150,000, no alimony. The prenup held firm, leaving Mike's house and business untouched. Sophia signed the papers in a courthouse meeting room, her hands trembling as she avoided Mike's gaze. David Carter had warned her team, "Take it, or you get nothing." She took it, her career in ruins, her savings drained by legal fees. Mike heard she'd moved into a one-bedroom apartment, scraping by on a pharmacy clerk job, paying $16 an hour. Her fall was complete, but Mike felt no joy, only closure. Anthony's collapse was steeper. The state medical board, after a brutal hearing, suspended his license for 3 years. Evidence of overprescribing Pfizer's drugs, tied to his affair with Sophia, sealed his fate. His practice partners forced a buyout at a fraction of its value. His ex-wife took the house, half his assets, and custody of their 2 kids. A month later, a DUI landed him in court, mandating rehab. Mike's hospital contact texted, "Cruz is teaching part-time at a community college. Lies above bar now." Mike didn't reply. Anthony's choices had carved his path. Sunlit Canvas was gone, replaced by a yoga studio advertising Zen vibes. Lila, the former owner, had emailed Mike from Seattle, where she'd opened a smaller gallery. "Learn my lesson about social media. Thanks for not suing." The viral post about the affair had faded, but not before branding Sophia and Anthony as Austin's cautionary tale. Local forums still buzzed with the story, though Mike's name stayed clear. His crew had ensured that, shutting down any gossip that reached the site. Mike's business soared. The retail center's success brought contracts for 2 more projects, a medical plaza and a downtown hotel. He promoted Juan to project manager, gave Kevin a raise, and started a profit-sharing plan for the crew. At a team dinner, Juan raised a beer to Mike, who took a hit and built back stronger. The crew cheered, their loyalty a foundation stronger than concrete. Mike clinked his glass, grateful for men who'd stood by him when his world tilted. A new presence grounded him. Emily Torres, a 34-year-old architect he'd met at a city planning conference. She'd approached him after his presentation on sustainable construction, her questions sharp and her humor sharper. Over coffee, then dinners, they bonded over shared values. Work hard, stay honest, build something lasting. Emily knew Mike's story, but never pried. "You're not defined by what she did," she told him one night, sketching designs on a napkin. "You're defined by what you do next." Mike took it slow, but her steadiness felt like home. Sophia's parents, Luis and Elena, called one evening. "She's still in therapy," Elena said. "Says she chased attention because she felt small next to your success." Mike listened, his jaw tight. "She could have talked to me. I'd have listened." Luis said, "We know. We're sorry, Mike. You were good to her." They promised to stay in touch, but Mike knew the bridge was burned. Sophia's regret couldn't rebuild what she'd broken. Anthony's downward spiral continued. His teaching contract wasn't renewed after he missed classes, reportedly drinking again. A medical board appeal failed, his license still suspended. His kids barely spoke to him, calling their stepfather Dad. Mike heard this from a mutual acquaintance at a job site, shaking his head. Anthony had gambled his career for stolen moments and lost everything. At the retail center's opening, Emily stood beside Mike, her hand brushing his as cameras flashed. She designed part of the complex, her vision blending with his execution. "Proud of you," she whispered. Mike squeezed her hand, the first real warmth he'd felt in months. Later, his crew threw a party at their usual dive bar. Kevin handed Mike a new hard hat, engraved with "Unbreakable." "From all of us, boss." You showed him how it's done. Mike accepted it, his throat tight. "Couldn't have done it without you guys." That night, alone in his house, Mike opened his phone. No notifications from Sophia, no pleas, no excuses. He scrolled to a text from Emily. "You built something amazing today. Can't wait to see what's next." He smiled, typing back, "Let's build it together." The betrayal that had shattered him at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday had cleared the way for clarity. Sophia sought validation in lies. Anthony chased thrills over ethics. Both paid the price. Mike chose truth, work, and loyalty, and it carried him forward. As he walked the site the next morning, blueprints in hand, Mike felt the weight of the past lift. The retail center stood tall, a testament to his resilience. New projects loomed, new possibilities with Emily grew, and his crew's trust anchored him. Sophia was restocking shelves somewhere, Anthony grading papers in a rented room. They'd chosen shortcuts to ruin. Mike chose to build, methodically, honestly, for keeps. That Tuesday notification hadn't broken him. It had shown him what was worth building. He adjusted his hard hat and got to work.